to investment advisory and management fee based on market value. For a timely and accurately payment are made by investment management fee. Not disputed. What specs do we use for this money? I know it says workers' compensation. A good explanation from Mr. Wanika. Chair.
For that, Mr. Wanika, go ahead with the two. The 1986 Chapter 10 Trust Fund, was that reported? And then also with the Del Gale Harris regarding the Workers' Comp Fund.
Yes, Chair. Yes, the 1986 chapter was reported, and they're together on the Chapter Clean Trust Fund. So there's two in there. So there's 82 and 86. And I did report just to confirm again. So I requesting $122,345, an increase of $45,546 for business unit 408001. And so, right, and just again, real quick, I think we missed one here on the graduate fund. So the graduate trust fund, business unit 509001, requesting $166,600, an increase of $46,560. That one's for the graduate trust. Again, all that's coming from the portfolio and the income it generates. As for the workers' comp, that is for the benefits. Again, more detail and information would be on the plan of operations and the program. So that's all used to cover all the worker compensation claims, and that's under the oversight is the Insurance Commission Committee on that. That's all I have to say on that.
Is this Insurance Committee, is that under Mr. Harlan Charlie's leadership? Right?
Yes, Chair, that's correct.
Okay, Shinanta, Del Gale here, when Mr. Charlie comes before us under Insurance Services Division, as far as your question that you posed earlier.
Chair, thank you, Chair. I'll put a note in there.
Kushina, any other comments or questions, committee members on the SFEs? Let's go forward to Finance Accounting Scholarship Program.
Thank you, Chair. Moving to the Financial Accounting Scholarship tab, I believe it's toward the front, right after Judicial Public Safety. And this is the one we got the investment section and the investment committee conducts. It's essentially a merit scholarship, so it's not based on financial need or aid. So there's a criteria and a policy, mainly financially driven accounting, finance, economics, and public administration. And this money comes from donations from the investment managers that we request for on an annual basis. Right now, we've been sending the letters as they present at the annual meeting. It's been working well. So now we're budgeting. We're budgeting just $60,000, same for every year. Right now we're seeing about on average 15 to 25 people, applying. But of those that apply, I want to say maybe about half to 75% qualify. And again, I just want to reiterate that the money is coming from the donations from the managers, the investment managers, and it's a merit scholarship, so it's not a financial aid scholarship. So no additional requests, same as last year budget, 60,000, business unit 509008.
Okay, thank you for that. Questions or comments, committee members? I'm not hearing any, so let's move forward.
Go ahead now.
I just have one question.
إذا خاك course is culture back.
The budget, you mean? The budget, yeah.
Oh.
The
tab are we on now?
The same tab under controller, AD tab 4, and the.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and it's right. Brett Winika said it's right behind that judicial, public safety facilities project.
Oh, okay. All right.
Akashina, any other questions or comments?
Chair, I do. This is Peggy.
Go ahead.
Brent, what is the success rate for those people that receive the scholarship from the Controller's Office? This is the investment committee. Since its inception, I know that this was started several years ago, recent years.
Do you have a response, Brent?
Yes, Chair. This goes back along at least a decade, I believe. The success rate, I need more definition and clarification. Do you mean as in students graduating and going on to professions, or students graduating and coming back here to work for the nation? And I can, on the...
It could be both. It could be both, Brent.
For the most part...
General question.
Right. From what I'm seeing and from what I'm, since I've been here, a lot of them, they are graduating. And, I want to say roughly about half, they come back every year and requalify. So that tells you that they're meeting the requirements. And in meeting those requirements, they are graduating essentially. So it is successful, but, the reality is we want to attract new talent and retain talent. And as we've discussed, it's really hard to compete with outside people, companies and governments. So that's what I have to say on that. But coming back here, it's in terms of students actually graduating and coming back here, it's very small. I know, I believe Karen, an accountant here for the Controller's Office who works here now, is a success story. And that's just now. I know in the past, people, they do use this opportunity, but again, the reality is they go elsewhere. So that's what we're facing. So it's kind of a relative question. And so I'd like to think that it pretty much correlates with, the scholarships struggles and successes as well. It's just hard to retain. It's been even harder now with the pandemic and the social distancing and so forth. That's what I have to say.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, committee? Okay, with that, we do have an agenda by a Budget and Finance Committee discussion action, and we do have a Chinanta Delegate Yellow Hair. I believe you were going to offer a directive. Do you wish to still do that, Chinanta?
Oh, yes, I'll still do that.
Dina, go ahead and state your directive.
My directive is within the controllers, with those positions that were vacant, that how many times they were advertised. Also, we need the expenditures report by position numbers. I guess this is going to be the whole, maybe FMIS report on the zero distributions reports, and to position with those positions that were vacant needs to be report by expenditures to see if this fund were used. That's my request, my directive, advisory, Peggy, Chair, and my colleagues being the committee members.
When do you want information? Delegate Yellow Hair?
What's in this budget before we finish the budget, going back to revisit? This is going to be based on the Peggy. Will be the best, or advisory.
Kushina. With that, committee members, is there a second to this directive from Delegate Yellow Hair?
Chairman Henyo, can you restate the directive? Thank you.
Okay, the directive from Delegate Yellow Hair is that he is requesting for a listing of all vacant positions within the controller's office and programs under the controller's control. At the same time, how long have they been vacant? And what's the possibility of getting those vacancies filled soon? I believe that's what I've been hearing. And at the same time, how much an expenditure report as far as what monies are being put away for these positions and not being used is what I'm thinking, I'm hearing right now. An expenditure report related to that, like how much money is sitting there in personnel on vacant positions. Delegate Yellow Hair.
Oh, yes, Honor.
So committee members, that's the restatement on the directive. Is there a second?
Chairman Henyo, I will second. Thank you.
Okay. So, Christina, we have a motion and a second on this directive. Committee members, any questions or comments regarding this directive? Delegate Yellow Hair.
I'll vote green.
Vice Chair Smith,
Green.
Delegate Amber Crotty, how do you vote?
Delegate Amber Canisbach-Crotty votes green. Thank you.
Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Delegate Elmer P. Begay.
I vote green.
That we have 4 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. The directive passes, and timeline for the controller's office is to be reported back to our advisor, Ms. Peggy Nakay, by the time we have our revisits, which is tomorrow. We have a revisit schedule. We also have revisits scheduled for tomorrow, committee members. One is with the home loan program, as far as their performance criteria, Form 2. And Peggy, I forgot, there's another one, right? If you can help me out.
There was the one where Forms A and Form for the exhibits on the legislations. I think those may have already been resolved. Maybe if Laura Johnson is listening in, can she expound on that, Chair, on the forms for the legislation 0168-20? And if those are resolved, then we don't have to revisit them. And then the other one was the home loan program for the budget form 2 to reevaluate that program. And then there was a request to have a meeting with CDFI and Credit Services with the Budget and Finance Committees, but that's for a later date. That's all I got, sir.
Christina, amiga, yeah. This would also be revisit with the controller's office, this directive and the request they gave this will also be a considered revisit for tomorrow once they get all the information and they present it back to us. So make a notation too.
Okay, there was another one. This was on the Veterans Trust Fund. I believe there was going to be a report generated by Brent, but there wasn't really any timeline discussed on the Veterans Trust Fund manager's fee.
Chair, if I may.
No, go ahead, Brett.
I can do that. Okay, for the report on the expenditure for the Veterans Trust, I can have that done end of business day today.
Okay, then you'll email it to Peggy and then she'll disseminate it to us.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. With that, any other committee members? Okay, so with this legislation,
Chair, this is
David
Yella here.
Hold on. So 186-20 again. We do have a special BNS committee meeting scheduled for Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock. So Peggy can help me out and for the committee's information. We will be officially passing these legislations on Monday, right? Or are we doing it now? Is my question to either Peggy or Kristen.
Chair, you're in a hearing mode right now. The outline says that it's a hearing mode. And so the Monday meeting for the special meeting was to have the committee finalize the legislation. So that gives you a little bit more time to get the information to the committee from the programs for any reports that you are requesting.
Ashina, thank you for that. Ashina,
Chair,
go ahead, Kristen.
That's exactly the opposite of what I advised. So I just need to know what the committee wants to do. There's the process outlined in my memo, which is that the hearing is essentially a particularized special meeting. And my idea was to combine the legislation and the hearing so you're not separating them out, so that everybody who listens to the report on the budget is actually voting on the legislation, rather than having people in the room to vote on the legislation who may not have been on the call to listen to the budget information. If you don't want to do that, if you want to do it hearing mode, whatever that means, bifurcated from the legislation, you can do that. That's being done by, I guess, Law and Order is doing it that way, and I guess RDC is doing it that way. Hess is doing it consolidated. So the report / hearing is combined with the legislation, and you just need to decide what you're doing, and you need to do it that way consistently, Chair. And I mean, that's all I can say on that.
Okay, so with this action that we take today on this legislation, because we did think that we wanted to begin with a quorum, and we do have a quorum, we maintain the quorum, and so therefore, if I call for the question on 186-20, legally there won't be any challenges as far as the vote being valid. Is what I
what you would do if you want to follow the HES format because we did read the legislation into the record. We have maintained a quorum. And because you want a revisit of this particular legislation, what you would do is table it for revisit on Friday. And then Office of the Controller would bring their revised Exhibit A. They would bring their revised Exhibit D, outlining the legislative concern raised by Delegate Crotty. And they would bring the revised Budget Form 2, outlining the performance measure enhancements requested by Delegate Crotty. And then they would bring the report requested by Delegate Yellowhair on vacant positions. And then they would bring the investment report to be provided by Brent Wanika. At that point in time, the committee would take it up from the table, get all the information gathered together. It needs to be reviewed by OMB to make sure everything is correct. Then the committee votes on it. Then OOC is done. Chair.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for that guidance. I really do appreciate it. So back to committee. You've heard our legal advisor, Ms. Kristen Lowe, as far as the process, and it would be easy, and we could take care of this this week. The legislation and the Office of the Controller. Before I go to the committee, Delegate Yellowhair, did you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I have a comment, my brother. This is probably going to be at large in the veterans that the funding with that 4% deposit in the permanent trust. That people have to vote 2/3. It's going to be too much for veterans. I think it should be just veteran vote on it. I think that's what a record sound. Maybe that should be changed. Veterans should vote just by itself, but just themselves instead of the whole people, because there's need for veterans. It's going to be very hard to get this permanent fund for our veterans. It's just my concern. Maybe this is going to have to be go to veterans organizations to maybe someone can do legislations. Everyone so over has the chair. For the records, call my grandson, Mr. Smith, vice chair, to it is father. Or the I thought not what he had on it. I want to thank you. Yeah.
So committee members, since we do have revisits scheduled for Friday, and we've been in active meeting mode because we wanted to maintain a quorum, be consistent. Therefore, this legislation, we did have a motion and a second. This legislation, and it was read into the record. Therefore, so with that, committee members, I'll ask if there is the motion to table this legislation till tomorrow for revisit. Vice Chair Smith.
Thank you, Shachaya Hazi. Maybe make a directive. Maybe make a directive to the veterans in ALAD behind Sishache. Had no traso. Adozi. Evotada Zendeso Bitoso. Ako Ebichador Aso. E Benanishido Lito. Arinat An Hisador. Ko Ashini O.
Parent Services Department, Risk Management / Safety Loss Control, Employee Benefits, Workers' Compensation, to be included in the Navajo Nation Comprehensive Budget for fiscal year 2021, sponsored by Jamie Henio and Jimmy Yellowhair, council delegates. This has been electronically read into the record. And Chair, I'm thinking that since we're kind of going into a special meeting mode, then maybe the Vice Chair yield the floor to the Vice Chair to preside, since you're the sponsor of this legislation. Or unless Mr. Yellowhair is the sponsor. You can decide that, I guess.
Is that complete your reading of the record?
Yes, everything is there. The exhibits are there, and the committee members and the advisors and others should have copies of the legislation. I emailed it out to you yesterday.
Actually, with that, committee members, since we have a co-sponsor, Delegate Yellowhair, Delegate Yellowhair, Kodo, your co-sponsor, so I got
I'll do my best for this one here. This is legislation.
Since you have the co-sponsor, otherwise I would have to yield the floor to the to Vice Chair Smith, which I don't mind doing too.
Give it to the Vice Chair, my friend. To the
so I'm the sponsor. I yield the floor over the gavel over to Vice Chair Smith for the remainder of the. I'm the sponsor of all the legislations here, except for Auditor General. So with this 187-20, Vice Chair Smith, if you would take over.
Yeah, speak, Chair, on the BNF, though, the little committee members in Offinigi. Bako Donaldson, the Bishop Behaned, Rosido, Jo, Tata Hashinati, but I'll do the best I can. Let's move forward, Shananda, on the agenda.
So next we have the OMB budget and performance summary reports.
Okay, with this, Shananda, Delegate Vice Chair Smith, other members of the Budget and Finance Committee, legislation 187-20 is the proposed budgets for these programs that were identified, and with the Insurance Services Department, Risk Management, Safety Loss, Employee Benefits, Workers' Compensation, and these are the programs that, with this legislation, to be included in the comprehensive budget for 2021. I do have my agents for the each division. I believe is my agent Harlan Charlie available?
Good morning. This is Mr. Charlie. Oh, I'm here.
Kashina Ado for Risk Management, Safety Loss is my agent Jonathan Dale available?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Chair.
Kushina, the Employee Benefits. Is that Mr. Charlie too?
Yes, also Yolanda Chicharello will be calling in as well, so she might be on the line, but we'll cover it.
Kushina, Ado for Workers' Compensation, Sean.
Ado, I'm going to cover that one.
Kushina, so that Kushina, Budget and Finance Committee members, I do have all my agents here for these 4 different areas, AD. So with that, I'll Insurance Services Department. I'll have Mr. Harlan Charlie present his budget to the committee.
Vice Chair, I don't.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. We don't have your affirmation on your oath, unless you emailed it to BNF, but I didn't get it. This is Peggy.
Peggy, this is Harlan. I texted to you, and you said thank you. That was yesterday. And also Marsha also sent hers, Yolanda, and also Sean has sent his as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair Smith, this is Delegate Crotty.
Delegate Crotty, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, sponsor and your agents. I think we need to start with OMB first, and then the agents. I just need a little bit of guidance on how just sounds like we're doing things a little bit different. Please enlighten me on what's we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Crotty. You are correct. We need to hear OMB on the performance and all that before we go into the presenters. And also, I need a motion and a second after we do the OMB's report. Do we have OMB on board?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Budget and Finance Committee. This is Darlene Sam, Senior Budget Analyst with OMB. I will be doing the report with Ancita Largo, Management Analyst with Management Information, MPS, Management Policy Section. So we're ready to go, Mr. Chair.
You may proceed. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, members of the committee. Going to Division of General Services Insurance Program, the OMB report, it's a digital copy. There's 10 pages. The cover page, the Navajo Nation Budget and Finance Committee, fiscal year 2021 budget hearings for Division of General Services Insurance Programs, Navajo Nation OMB report, August 24th through the 27th. Then going to tab 2, the next page is your table of contents. And you have the letters listed, A through E. A is your fiscal year 2021 fund type budget summary. B is your FY 2020 third quarter budget status report. C is FY 2020 third quarter performance assessment report. D is FY 2020 third quarter plans of operation status report. E is FY 2020 condition of appropriation legislative concern report. There are none. So proceeding to the next tab, A is your FY 2021 fund type budget summary. Go to the next tab to see the summary page for Division of General Services, the insurance program for fiscal year 2021 budget summary by fund type. You'll see the report layout. The top portion is your general fund total, and then the bottom portion are your proprietary funds, the non-general funds. So you have 5 business units listed. In the fiscal year 2020 column, approved budget, I'm just going to read the bottom line, the grand total amount. Approved budget in FY20 is $54,758,949. For fiscal year 2021, Navajo Nation funds, proposed general fund, bottom line, $126,421. Indirect cost amount, overall $151,768. Proprietary fund, $65,707,548, for a total recommended budget for FY21 of $65,985,737. And asterisk on the bottom, a note, the oversight committee for these programs is also the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee and the Budget and Finance Committee. Going to next tab, B, FY 2020 third quarter budget status report. So going on to page 6 is your summary page of the budget status report as of third quarter ending June 30th, 2020 for Division of General Services Insurance Programs. You have the general fund budgets listed on top and the proprietary funds on the bottom. So original column for general funds, $307,125. Revised budget of $493,458.39. Actual expenditure, $188,174.97. Encumbrance, $52,975.32. Budget available, $252,308.10. Expenditure rate is 48.87%. On the bottom are your proprietary funds, original budget $54,514,883. Revised budget $55,077,505.80. 87 cents. Actual expenditure $40,099,037.53. Encumbrance of $763,314.80. Budget available $14,215,153.54. Expenditure rate of 74.19%. You will see one asterisk or two asterisks at the far end column. The note on the bottom, if it's one asterisk, it's under expenditure by 65% or less. Two asterisks, over expenditure by 85% or more. And the remaining pages will be covered by NCTA. Thank you.
Okay, this is Ann Cedar with OMB MPS. Tab C is the FY 2020 quarter performance assessment report for Division of General Services Insurance Department. There's only two.
I cannot hear, Vice Chair, I'm sorry.
I can't hear. The program performance assessment scores for Division of General Services Insurance Services, 801-2005 and 801-2016. For third quarter, they're under 2.0, 1.8, and 1.8. The average for the whole, for all the insurance services departments, 2.40. The scoring is down at the bottom. 3 is exceeding, 2 is meeting, 1 is not meeting, 0 is no report. Going on to D for the third quarter plans of operation status report. They are all up to date, and there is no condition of appropriation or the legislative concern for the insurance department. That completes our report. Thank you.
Hagushi, thank you. OMB. I need a motion and a second.
Delegate Crotty will motion.
Delegate Brown, second.
Crotty. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, second. Committee members, any questions for OMB?
Vice Chair Smith, this is Delegate Crotty with the question.
Honorable Crotty, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you. Ahiaha, thank you for OMB with your report. I'm looking at what the original budget account and now looking at the revised budget. Can you help me understand? So for 12-2003 Insurance Service Department, there was a revised budget that was an increase of approximately, I don't know, 200,000. Where does that money come from? Or is there internal transferring? And I would also have the same question for the lawyers professional. It looks like there was an increase to the original budget. I just want to know if where that money comes from. And there was a minor increase with IDS RMP/safety/loss. I just need to know then is there additional funding that comes to the program, or are there internal transfers? Thank you, Vice Chair Smith.
Hagushi, Honorable Crotty, we'll turn the floor over to OMB, and then we'll get those answers, and then we'll ask more questions from the committee. You have the floor, OMB.
Mr. Vice Chair and members of the committee, this is Darlene Sam, Senior Budget Analyst. Okay, the question is, what is the difference between the original budget and the revised budget? You'll note all the way down there are differences. It's usually the original budget represents the what was approved by the council, and then when there's changes throughout the fiscal year, encumbrance rollover that we get from Controller's Office, or either carryovers like the IDC carryover and other carryovers, general fund carryovers. That's what's that's what's added to the original budget. That's where you see the revised budget amounts different. In the case of insurance services, the increase is the carryovers that they got from the general fund and the IDC per council budget resolution. and safety loss, most of these programs get IDC. So for the risk management program, it would be for the same thing, the IDC carryover. And then 81-2011, the lawyers from 522 to 786. I'm guessing that would be encumbrance carryover because most of those accounts involve contracts. So most of the encumbrances that we get from the controllers are for contracts. Madam Chair Crotty, that's my response. Thank you.
Thank you for that rebuttal and answer. To answer your question, Honorable Crotty?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. If I could make a recommendation to our advisor that the committee receive an update when carryover budgets are administered, so we do know at least the programs in our oversight where this funding is being placed, and that helps us as we analyze the comprehensive budget. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Crotty. Was that a directive or is that just a recommendation, or how are you proposing this? Back to you, Honorable Crotty.
Thank you, Vice Chair Smith. Because it's an internal request, I'm asking our advisor to keep track of the carryover. If it needs to be a directive, because it's not so much towards the program, but our advisor, I can also make that directive, Vice Chair Smith. I'll need some guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Crotty. We'll keep that in mind. We have Legislative Council. We can make those directives at the end of the presentation when we do action. And if you want to make that directive, that'll be one of the parts that we can act upon, if that's okay with you, Honorable Crotty.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Say something, please. Vice Chair?
I'm sorry, I heard two people talking at the same time.
Okay, this is Peggy. I wanted to make a comment.
Go ahead, Peggy. This is go ahead.
Okay, what usually happens, Vice Chair, is that after the comprehensive budget has been approved by the President, and then that's when, usually like in the comprehensive budget legislation, the Budget and Finance will recommend carryovers for certain programs that request those carryovers. And then each branch, legislative, executive, or judicial, are provided a certain amount of money that they can carry over. And that is agreed to and approved by the council. That's recommended to the President for his approval and signature. After all of that is said and done, the resolution comes out. And at that point, the programs put the carryover funds back into their budgets. And usually legislative branch advisors and are not privy to who gets the carryovers, like for the executive branch, for all of the branches, I would say. So this is, I would ask the programs to provide the information for those carryover funds where they put those in their budgets. That would be easier to have the committee know where those funds go for carryovers. If the budgets, if the programs request carryovers from their budgets from FY20 to be put into 21 budgets. And so far I haven't seen anything from, or I missed that if there was a request from insurance services, but we'll get to that, I guess, as they present their budgets. Am I clear on that? I'm kind of like going all over the place.
That's pretty clear. You're saying that it should come from the programs rather than the advisor trying to decipher and get that information. Honorable Crotty, is that
in line that you're trying to ask to keep track of how these funds are being appropriated and the revised budget and things that's going on? Would that be directive towards the programs to provide that information? Is that what you're asking?
Thank you, Vice Chair Smith, Advisor Shada. What I'm asking is for our advisor to assist the committee to get that information. And so once we approve the carryover, there should be an email or a follow-up to know how that carryover money was used. And so I would ask that our advisor assist the committee to help us get that information. So it would be an email to the 3 branches regarding how they're using their carryover. I don't know if this needs to be amended language, but carryover shouldn't be a vacuum. It shouldn't be dark money. We should know where that money is being allocated so that we are, what I'm just looking for is transparency. So at this point, nobody on this call, well, I don't know who on this call knows what programs were allocated carryover dollars, but we certainly as an oversight were not provided that information. I don't think the programs, I don't think the approach should be program by program. It should be through the 3 branch chiefs. And so maybe that's a request from the committee, a memo saying we need to know how those carryovers were allocated, or I need to reconsider supporting the carryovers if there's not going to be that transparency, Vice Chair. So I'm just looking for a memo and transparency on how these carryovers were allocated. And I do know we have agents on the line, and I'm at this point, it's just assuming it's carryover, and I just need to be clear on that. Thank you, Vice Chair. Yeah, I can clarify my request. It's a memo from this committee asking for the carryover breakdown from the 3 branches. That's merely my request. Thank you.
Okay, Vice Chair, since we got that clarified a little bit further, perhaps since OMB incorporates all these changes that happen to the budgets after the comprehensive budget is approved, perhaps OMB could provide that information to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Honorable Crotty and Peggy, I understand that there's a memo that will be drafted to the 3 branch on the carryover, so it'll be more transparent. We could go that route, and there'll be no doubt about how this carryover is being used. So, Peggy, could you draft up that through the request from the DNF? Is that fine there, Honorable Crotty?
Sure, I can do that, Vice Chair.
Okay, appreciate that. Honorable Crotty, did you have
Sure.
another question?
Vice Chair Smith, no, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to clarify my request. Thank you.
Okay, great. Moving on, I heard Shache.
Sure.
Honorable Neil here. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'd like to understand what the Honorable Crowdy asked me for. Are you talking about this year, current funding, 2020, or are you talking about 2021? If you're talking about 2021 operations, I think all we need is probably a budget line item report that shows where the money went in those line items. I think that's what we need, and the current budget worksheet on that one, a spreadsheet on that one. So it will show which money went through which line item, that one. That really helps where the money went, which line item. I think what we need from probably from OMB or with that the FMIS report. If I'm clear with that one, Chair, Vice Chair, Pro Tem, too.
So, Shache, with that
Dio KDA Habe those things called memo those things 3 branch could be and other be the Sogi budget line item. Hey, she be kept. What does she isn't that for 2021? Okay, let's move on to committee members. Any other questions for OMB on the report? If not, let's move on to Insurance Services Department.
Question. I don't know. I had members of BNF committee. I had gone to the house. But budget another. But hinade niki do. Jo pa anade ni do la na nada ni no. But you budget ki kudo ke nada si ne shibi kaho. Ako Chair Emmanuel Charlie. What ishije. Kia ani shlon katni zani bashi chin. Ado todich in the edashin nalido kilichin dashi che. What kudo kitchen. So I didn't change the list. Kodosha budget ki I go over my budget for Form 1 to Form 2 and you change cut all list. I call Part 1 a business unit 112003. Program title is Insurance Services Department. Division branch is General Services is under Executive Branch. The budget was prepared by myself. My telephone number is there, 871-6461, and my email address is there as well. Part 2, funding source. General funds for fiscal year 10/01/20 to 9/30/21. The amount of general funds is $126,421, and it's 52% of my budget. I get IDC allocation for fiscal year term 10/1/20 to 9/30/21, $115,194, and it's 48%. So a total I get is $241,616. Kunela is your budget to me. I call Part 3. My original budget last year under personnel was $209,315. Although my proposed budget this year is $157,076, a minus of $52,259. Although 3000 series, my original budget was $19,549. My proposed budget is $16,291. A minus of $3,258. Although 3500 series, original budget was $1,998. My proposed budget is $3,924, an increase of $1,926. 4000 series. Original budget was $7,678. My proposed budget is $8,664, an increase of $986. 5000 series. Original budget was $3,895, and my proposed budget is $18,385, an increase of $14,490. Out of 5500 series. Original budget was $9,432, and my proposed budget is $6,288 with a minus of $3,144. 6000 series. Original budget was $1,400. Proposed budget is $2,972 with an increase of $1,572. Out of 6500 series. My original budget was $12,212, and my proposed budget is $7,507, a decrease of $4,705. 7000 series. My original budget was $10,037. My proposed budget is $4,676 with a minus of $5,361. 800 series, I don't have nothing budget. 900 series, last year's budget, I had nothing. This year's budget, I had $15,832, and with an increase of $15,832. So my last year's budget was $275,516. This proposed budget is $241,615. So a decrease of $33,901. Last year I had 3 personnel and 1 vehicle. This year I have 2 personnel and 1 vehicle. Form 2, under Part 1, Part 2, we had our plan operation updated in 2017, and Part 3 program, the criteria, performance criteria, Goal 1, update insurance coverage report with the Navajo Nation Enterprise and chapter on the quarterly basis. Provide training, conduct site visit with the Navajo Nation Enterprise, Navajo Nation certified chapters, quarterly for OA Cross, first quarter, second, third, and fourth. Second, goal statement. Provide administrative and technical support to Navajo Nation Insurance Commission in developing a comprehensive insurance coverage plan. Facilitate short and long-term strategies per quarter with the Insurance Commission and the insurance participants. We have 4 OA costs, four times in every quarter. 3, goal statement. Secure insurance claims file through a Tier 4 database for archiving and retrieval of documents. We want to upload about 25 claims per files per quarter into the secured backup system for our claims management. We put 25 across. 4, goal statement. Conduct preventative awareness campaign to all Navajo Nation insurance participants and to decrease the medical claim experience. Provide technical and education to Navajo Nation Enterprise and Navajo Nation chapter per quarter. 5, goal statement is a redesign insurance department's office cubicle layout for HIPAA regulations and to enclose the front office for document control. Secure IDC program and DGS working environment and administration building 1. So on the first quarter we have 0, and hopefully on the second quarter we can start working on the ability to enclose it. So members of the BNF committee, this is my budget for fiscal year 2001. Thank you.
Gosheen, thank you, Mr. Charlie, on behalf of your presentation on your budget for 2021. Committee members, any questions?
Vice Chair Smith, this is Delegate Crotty with the question.
Honorable Crotty, I'll recognize your.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you, sponsor, and Shania, for your report and acting as an agent. It looks like you have a layoff in your department. Please shed light in terms of how that decision was made. I'm looking through your summary on budget form 1. Was it just allocation? Because I'm also looking at your proprietary fund, and there seems to be an increase. So are these positions just general funds, dependent on general funds, or is there language that allows you to use proprietary funds? And my concern is it looks like it's your counselor. So maybe if you could give me more information. I actually thought this was innovative that you were using a counselor to assist. I'm not sure then if there was some issues. So please enlighten me, and then I'll have a follow-up question. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair.
Goshen, committee members, any other questions for Mr. Charlie?
Hello, Chair. Pro Tem Stu, this is Doug Goodyeller here.
Oh, Jay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, my Honorable Cloudy. I wasn't printed out, but since he's printed out on the personal, there's one position it's not a budget for. Looks like there's maybe a layoff. But my next question is going to be there is a money was increased in 9,000 for capital outlay. Looks like this is furnitures. What is that? There's a lot of money that you put it in there in the 9,000 series. Furnitures. It's going to cost 4,000. Fixtures 1,000. Building 6,649. Building improvement. I know this one says redesign office layout, cubicles, accommodations, additional office. That was my question. That's all. Yeah. Going back to you, Pro Tem. Going back on mute.
I'll go shoot Jay. Committee members, any other questions? If not, we got two questions. Mr. Charlie, we'll turn the floor over to you.
So, Vice Chair, although I didn't those kids, and Kadoshing Janasti to Lesico, Alajnadis Kidi, sister, good to hear your voice. I haven't seen you for quite some time now. So, but I did lay off a counselor position. This year I got a 34,000 less in my IDC, so my operating costs. If I had to keep this individual under my budget, under my insurance service department, I'm the only one that gets general funds. Such as my other sections, risk management, employee benefit, workers' comp, a proprietary funds. Budget, so they don't really get impact like me. So I know every year I've been getting cut in the general fund side, but I was fortunate to get an additional money for IDC last year. Now, what I did was throughout the year I went and budgeted a counselor position in the workers' comp side, because that's where a lot of claims are coming out, and that's where the counselor is needed more. It would be better, and I think her position is probably going to be much safer under proprietary account than general funds, because I'm always getting cut each year. Ebony Nago, Sister Akwitza, I went and put her in that position. In fact, her paperwork is going through the process right now, so she's still a counselor. She's the only counselor under the insurance services department, and we're trying really hard to revamp employee assistant program. It used to be under employee benefits, but that program was phased out in 2004. So one of the president's priorities is to revamp this, but I asked for unmet need budget before, and nothing was considered. So I want to continue to work on it because it's needed. Audit workers' comp as usual. I can explain that part more. Honorable Yellow Hair, increase in 9,000 account. So a 9,000 under our insurance service department for the second floor of administration building. Anybody can come into the building. So I guess the way the building was designed, administration building 1 was supposed to enclose all the office because of the confidentiality of documents that we deal with. We deal with claims, medical claims files that have medical records, Social Security, we have to be in compliance with the HIPAA laws. So a program audit, make it a net performance audit, and I know this HIPAA is going to hit us because of the building. Ebony Nago, beso ba hita hati ashi, hita di nihi, close the front office window, which is not dato, so that we can control our document. Ebony Nago, building Nikki 10,000 pump so Nana D 5,644 in our office we have cubicles Nana before we move up here, designing engineering is the one that designed the building for themselves and that ako in bikedo shi ina ita e shito kwata ako bini nago satan hado sada so on that he out the other part is sneeze guard. The condoms are for the protection and safety of the employees, especially now that we have COVID. So I have a contract that's going through right now to try to get the sneeze guard. I had to get a service contract without it. Ebony Nagwak, basically, Honorable Yellow Hair for 9,000 series. Okay.
To hear that on the answers back for Honorable Karate and also Jimmy Yellowhair, Honorable Yellowhair. Committee members, any other questions for Insurance Service Department? Harlan Charlie.
Chetan, I'm good.
Agoshish Da. It sounds like we're satisfied with the Insurance Service Department's request on behalf of this. Shananda, let's move on to number 3, risk management, safety loss control. Do we have Shonovan Dale on board?
Yes, good afternoon, Presiding Chair, Otto, members of the Budget and Finance Committee. Good afternoon. Shonovan Dale in Shiedo, Peso, not Nelja, Banashnish, Ado Shada Nish Aja, Honaganin, Slokia, Ani Bashishin, Ado Kitlichi, the Shedo Trachini, the Shanale, Ado Kin, Leho, Yedo Inasha, Anaj, and Nahal Kadoshi Yaho, and Leho. Aro at Bahot Nishnegi Nakigo is Keona on Niche Shanet Ishli Halish budget Halo Sano Tande Koba Stogishi Ena Kigo a larger door lake. A large in Linigishi Business Unit 112004 Risk Management Safety Loss Control Program. Ada Bakego Nagi A Risk Management Program 812005 the election and I call Tebehal Jishikishi Kodo Hashit on Hart Kate Days Nel Ade the Business Unit 112004 Shield Tedolith. So if we can proceed on that tab, I'm not sure how they've laid it out for you guys, but we can start with that business unit. This is the proposed budget for FY 2021, Business Unit 112004, Risk Management Program, Safety Loss Control. Under the Division of General Services, the budget is prepared by myself, Shonovan Dale. My contact information is there. Under Part 2, Funding Sources, Indirect Costs for this upcoming fiscal year is $36,500 $574. That is 100% funded there. Going over to Part 3, Budget Summary. Under Travel Expenses, there is none budgeted. I'm sorry, Personnel Expenses, there is none budgeted. Under Travel Expense, last year was $9,500. This year, I'm proposing $9,500 level funding from the previous year. Under Meeting Expense, there is no budget for meeting expense in this business unit. Under Supplies, last year I had applied $7,925. This year I am proposing $27,074, an increase of $19,149. Lease and rental, last year was $6,500. This year I'm proposing no budget for that line item, which would be a decrease of $6,500. Under the 6500 series contractual services, last year I had budgeted $1,000. This year I am proposing to zero that out, a difference of negative $1,000 decrease. Under 7000 series special transactions, last year I had $6,684 budgeted. This year there is no proposed budget for that. That would be a decrease of $6,684. Total last year budget for 812004 was $31,609. This year we've had a slight increase, $36,574, an increase of $4,965. This business unit has no positions, and it also has no vehicles budgeted under this line item. Moving on to Form 2, page 2, is performance criteria. Goal statement number 1 is to review and investigate claims. Our performance measure is to provide assistance in 20 accident investigations to Navajo Nation insurance pool members per quarter. Goal statement number 2, presentation and outreach for employees. The performance measure is conduct 4 safety trainings per quarter with certification. Goal statement number 3, recruitment and outreach. Recruit 160 safety training attendees per quarter. Goal statement number 4, safety inspections for the Navajo Nation and insured members. Performance measures conduct a total of 60 building safety inspections per quarter. Goal statement number 5 is increase chapter involvement. Performance measures conduct 15 chapter inspections, trainings, outreach activity per quarter. Mr. Chair, that is the presentation. Behind that is Budget Form 4, page 3 of 3. It gives a detailed breakdown of where our budget has been allocated. I'll leave that for your review, Mr. Chair. If there are any questions on Business Unit 112004, I can take those now.
Committee members, risk management program safety, any questions?
This is Delegate Crotty.
I'm back on the line. The other I was lost.
Honorable Crotty?
I'm glad you're found, Delegate Yellowhair. Welcome back. I just have a question regarding, looks like your special transaction has increased by over $500,000. Can you just explain that increase? Thank you.
Is that Business Unit 812005?
Yes. Am I on the right one?
We're one back, Shema. We're on 812004. I'll get to that early.
We're doing, you're doing 112004?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No questions. Thank you.
Okay, we're all on the same page, Shananda. There's no questions for the General Services Risk Management Program Safety and General Bahwin's we have employee benefit. Ishid, you're the sponsor or you're the agent on this behalf.
Che.
Mr. Presiding Chair, Mr. Che.
Oh.
I have one more risk management budget. This is our big operating budget, Mr. Chair.
Goshi, I don't think I have it in my binder. I'm looking for it. I was following along with your the 112004.
Okay, that's the first. That one's what I call the small budget. There's a big budget, business unit 812005.
Biga, I'm on that page now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. Let's continue on with risk management, safety loss control. This is the proposed budget for FY 2021. Business Unit 812005, Risk Management Program under Division of General Services. The budget is prepared by myself as the program supervisor. This Part 2, the funding source. This is a combination of proprietary proprietary internal service fund. This is for this upcoming fiscal year 2021. The amount is $9,947,548. Part 3, the budget summary, 2001 series, personnel expenses. Last year's approved budget was $831,437. This year's proposed budget is $828,875, a decrease of $2,562. Under the 3000 series travel expenses, last year's approved budget was $129,762. This year's proposed budget is $97,271, a decrease of $32,491. Under the 3500 series is meeting expenses. There was no meeting expense for last year and no meeting expense for this year. Under the 4000 series, supplies last year was $64,450. This year we're proposing $47,202 for a decrease of $17,248. Under the 5000 series lease and rental, last year we had $18,300. This year we're proposing $12,300. A difference or a decrease actually of $6,000.
Question of privilege, Chair. This is Delegate Yell here. What is the business unit number? And he's reading Mr. Shavendale.
Che.
Business unit 812005.
Oiga, ayos lahot. Kajiki report on the program budget summary is a little bit different than what you're reading. I don't know if I'm reading right, but just keep going. Let's see what you have there. So deal with the Kajiki in the short protect. Yeah.
Coach
Vice Chair.
Vice Chair,
this is Peggy.
On the budget form number 1, under the binder that we got, I heard different numbers, and I was waiting for the end of this report to see if we can get the correct one according to what Shachay's reading on his budget. But Peggy, go ahead.
Vice Chair, Mr. Yellowhair is right. I have a whole different report too. For example, under supplies it says $80,200 was for the original budget, and then the proposed budget is at $47,202. And then for 5,000 lease rental, it says $19,400 was the original budget. $12,300 is the proposed budget, of a difference of $7,100. That's in our binder right now. I don't know if there's a different budget that was proposed.
Correct. Maybe we can ask Shachay, Shonovan Dale.
What's going on here, Mr. Chair and committee members, is the version that you guys have is dated and signed by my division director on 8/6. That is the older version. The updated one was signed 8/26.
Committee members,
And that was emailed to OMB
Bushy.
and my division.
Thank you for clarifying that. The older version we have right now in our binder, that's 8/4/20, signed by Lamardo Azret. The updated one, 8/26/2020 is not in our binder. Committee members, we need the current one to be fallen alone on behalf
Mr. Chair, this is OMB.
OMB, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, this is Darlene Sam from OMB. What the difference is, the budgets that are in the binder, there were further corrections made. And I believe DGS sent out the digital copies because that's what I have. That's what they emailed to me. And I can forward the digital copy to Peggy. Those are the correct budgets that I'm following.
Thank you, Darlene Sam. Appreciate that information. Committee members, we're now at a standstill on FY 2020 for Shonavon Dale's report regarding the budget forms. Those that have binders, I was looking at my binder and I was wondering how come the numbers weren't the same. Committee members, any suggestions on what to do on behalf of this? Maybe Legislative Council can chime in.
Mr. Chair, this is Kristen Wall, or Mr. Vice Chair. Two possibilities. We can take a recess. The committee can take a recess for lunch, and then maybe that'll give enough time to get the proper information. I hesitate to say table it because, as you know, you can only table legislation once, and then if it needs to come back for a revisit at that point in time, if it's a second tabling motion, it's automatically deleted from the agenda. Mr. Vice Chair.
Committee members.
Mr. Vice Chair. Mr. Vice Chair, I do have the email now. This is Peggy.
The purpose of getting this corrected on behalf of that, committee members, some of us are not in Window Rock. Some of us are away. We don't have printers, and some of us may not even have internet service to where we're at to even to review. So,
thank you.
Committee members,
okay, thanks.
could we please mute your phones? I just want to. We have too many conversations going on. So at this point in time, committee members, we're in a standstill here. We need the updated one, 8/26/20, which I suppose is a one-pager for now. Committee members, what's your
I don't think it's going to be one. Chair, Protect Chair. I don't think it's going to be just one page. It's going to be the whole budget because it pertains to other line item too. Protect. Only to society, I want to argue. I don't let that be.
Okay.
Vice Chair.
There's a request to do a recess for 1 hour. I'll recognize the request for 1 hour to get these documents in order, and we'll reconvene at 1:25 p.m.
Vice Chair, right. This is Delegate Crotty.
Vice Chair, yeah.
Who's speaking?
Delegate Crotty.
Honorable Crotty, go ahead.
Yes, if I may. I understand a 1 hour. I'm just looking at our agenda. Is 1 hour needed, or realistically, looking at this agenda, what's our timeline to get this done? Vice Chair, if you could give me guidance.
Well, thank you, Honorable Crotty. It was recommended by one of the committee members to do an hour. We can compromise on that. We can go 45 minutes or maybe half an hour to get this coordinated. Someone to get some of us members like to go get lunch, like
Honorable Yellow Hair said that he's hungry. He would like to go get lunch, and I'm sure other members that are and others that are on the line could take a break for about half an hour and go get lunch, and then come back and have this ready to go. So I'll be considered on that.
Thank you, Vice Chair. This is Delegate Crotty. So if I may, and if it's if we want to compromise, I'm fine. But I would like to be reasonable with this time. So are we going to finish? Are we going to recess or adjourn at 5 o'clock? What I don't want to do is take time now. I don't mind, but are we then, can we make a commitment to recess at 5 o'clock for a reasonable time for all of the staff and everybody on the line? Vice Chair, thank you.
Well, thank you, Honorable Crotty. That's another consideration to recess at 5 p.m. That'd be up to the committee members, and we'd like to continue moving forward on legislation 018720. We were doing pretty good on time with the reports here, but 30 minutes for the recess, and when it comes down to 5 p.m., we'll see how far we are. We need to continue. Go ahead.
This is Mr. Dale. Should say just for your information, column A in the previous copy, I used the previous year's allocation, so there was a bad mistake that I made. So I revised it to reflect last year's budget of $10 million. So only column A and column C would be changed. The rest of the budget remains the same. I just changed Form 1, A, and C. So that's the only reflection that would show up. Just so you guys know.
Agoshi, thank you. Back to the recess thing. Let's get the documents ready and get ready to reconvene once we get everything in order with Budget Form 1. And we'll take 30 minutes, if that's fine with the committee members. 30 minutes for recess. We reconvene at 1:05 p.m.
Vice Chair, this is Peggy. I have a question.
Peggy, go ahead.
Vice Chair and members of the committee, how do you want to handle these budget forms that were emailed from OMB? I did send it out to you. You should have the email on the updated budget forms. I see the Business Unit 812005 Risk Management Program showing on Form 1 that they received $10,683,433 in column 1 or column A of budget Form 1 for this current original budget. And then the proposed budget and the column C. So, and that's dated August 12th, 2020. That's the forms that I have. And Lamardo Azaret signed on 8/26/20 for those budget forms. I sent those to you. Can you let me know how you want to proceed for those delegates that have difficulty accessing internet? What do we do in that instance? Can you look on your phone or your laptop to see if you receive those? And then do you want hard copies of this put into your boxes so that tomorrow when you have revisits that you'll have them? How do we handle this? That's my question.
Thank you, Peggy. The question that you're asking is some of us don't have access to internet. Please let us know if you don't have internet, and we can have Peggy put it in your box or somehow get that to you one way or the other. But for now, the problem is we're all situated at different areas, and some of us might not be able to have access to either phone or either the internet. So best thing we can do is just try to rely on the laptop or the phone for now. And if you need the hard copy, it'll be Peggy can put that in your box, or you can, or if you're in Wonder Rock, that's great. You can get it printed out and I'll have to wait on my form on Form 1, but I'll follow along and I'll add notes on Form 1. But for now, let's do the recess for 30 minutes and come back and we'll reconvene and move forward.
Okay, Viva. 30 minutes, fine. By the time we should have our cell phone. Thank you very much. I checked my cell phone. There's nothing in there. Okay. Hakoshi Kadaditi.
Hakoshi, 30 minutes from this time, which is now 12:39, which is going to be 1:10. We'll reconvene at 1:10.
Okay, thank you.